cheer for VP Cherian Mathew, the V!
Good morning. I can't hear you. Good morning. Infinity, are you there? Good morning. I'm very pleased and honored to be here tonight. And first of all, let me congratulate all those new core team members who have been here. Can you give them a round of applause? Guys, you can do better than this. Give them a round of applause. I remember for the first time when I was invited to the core team, how I felt. You see, I told you earlier that my upline is V partner Arun George. And when we started in the business in the year 2000, Arun was a 23-year-old young kid. And I was considered to be a mature, middle-aged person. And it was very difficult for me to accept somebody who is so young. And when we started, Arun was like 4 months senior to me in the business. He started in the month of May, June, and I started in October. And then I was kind of a very aggressive networker. From the day I started, I was very aggressive in what I was doing. I'll tell you the story. But then I could see Arun only in meetings. Our common upline is Mahendra Kumar, AVP Mahendra Kumar. And he used to call meetings to discuss about the various aspects of the business. And in those meetings, I will meet Arun. I never knew that Arun is my upline. Then, over a period of time, I started interacting with him and understood that he is my upline. And those days, as I earlier mentioned, it was the primitive age of networking. It was like paper, pencil, manual forms, and all that. And we never had a training in Bahrain from the company. In fact, we had never seen anybody from the company while we were doing this business. When we started, I remember the only thing my upline showed me was a photocopy of Mass Mutual Towers in Hong Kong. It was a black and white photocopy of that tower. And he told me this is where our company is headquartered. And then I saw another photocopy of a $5,000 check, which belonged to AVP Willie Martinez. I never knew Willie Martinez at that time. But that was the biggest check in the Middle East at that time. $5,000, 1 week. So these are the two things with which I started building this business. There was no website, there was no catalogs, no brochures, no CDs, nothing. And many people ask, how did we believe this? Okay, and I also don't know how I believed this company when I started. But then this association with these few people who were very aggressive in what they were doing made me believe slowly. And then this interaction with Arun Those days, in any meeting, Arun would speak only at the last. He would not make unnecessary comments. He would just listen to everyone, and then he will make his comment as the last one. And most of the times we get surprised by the amount of seriousness, by the amount of wisdom in what he talks. Now I'm talking about a young guy who is 23 years old at that time. And I was very much influenced by his way of thinking. Now, to me, a 23-year-old young kid is somebody who is not at all serious, who does not know what life is, who does not know how things are going to shape up, who does not think beyond that particular day. But this guy was totally different. And then he was invited by the company to go to a week-on in Genting Islands. Sorry, not week-on, a fax training, which was, I think, the first fax training in Genting Islands. And he went there and came back and then sat with us, called a few of us, around 10 of us, and shared what he experienced there. And then he said, I think the way we are moving forward in this business is not going to help us in the long run. So we need to come together. We need to form a team. We need to work together. We need to have certain guidelines. We need to think big. We need to have a vision. And he was talking and we were all just sitting there and listening to him without exactly knowing what he really means about it. But then we realized that this guy has some capability which is much beyond what we have. And this guy is going to take us places. In a few days' time, he said, I'm going to form a team and I will be sending out invitations to only those people whom I think can be part of this team. And he invited around 10 of them. And I was one among that. And I still remember that day when I was invited into that meeting, and I could sit there and understand the amount of hard work and the amount of pride these people would have, and the amount of recognition they got by getting inducted into this core team. And I want to congratulate them once again for that. Can you please give them a round of applause? Okay, I am here to share a few things which I have experienced over the past so many years. I'm not going to do a training for you. I'm here to share some critical elements of this business which I have experienced myself. I come from this place called Cochin in Kerala. And I have lived my life, almost 90% of my life, outside India. I was educated to become a lawyer. And I was kind of a very funny guy while I was studying in school and college. Okay, my dream was to become a doctor. Why? Because those days, my parents would only talk about either becoming a doctor or an engineer. And I'm talking about the late 80s, early 90s. Okay, and my elder brother got into medicine. He was much studious than me. He was very much focused in studies. And he got there. So when he got there, my dream of becoming a doctor even became more strong. And I was working very hard to become one. But then it didn't happen. One time, two times I tried, nothing happened. Then I gave up that thought. But then people around the family, people in the family and outside the family had a lot of expectations. And these expectations sometimes makes us very much worried. And I also was a victim of expectations. And when I didn't get my admission for this in the second time, then I had this feeling that I have let them down, let my parents down. Okay, my parents always wanted us to become a professional, either a doctor or an engineer, that's all. And then I got into college. I tried, I said, okay, I have to pass my time, one more year has to pass by, so let me get into college. And I got into chemistry, BSc chemistry. And 1 year into chemistry, I was not very much comfortable with the subject. And this pressure from all the sides in the family was building up. And always there was this comparison. Your elder brother is much smarter than you, he's more focused than you, he studies better than you, all these kind of things. And then 6 months into the course, I realized that if I continue continue studying BSc chemistry, then by the time I finish, these people will make me fail in the subject because of the amount of pressure. So I told myself, let me try for an engineering course. Let me try. Engineering was never my preference. But then let me try for it. So I applied for engineering. And I wrote the exam. And fortunately or unfortunately, I got selected. And I went into mechanical engineering from BSc chemistry. Okay, so 1 year, 2 years, 1 year doing the entrance, 1 more year doing the chemistry. Now I am into the third course, which is mechanical engineering. Now in the engineering college, when I reached there, I was kind of a senior person because I am studying with students who are 2 years younger than me. And all the time it happens that I get into the limelight. I get into leadership wherever I go. Okay, and in that college, for the union election, they chose me as a candidate. 6 months in the college, I was standing for elections. And on the day of election, I was in the college waiting for the results to come out, and I was selected. And we were having the the celebration was going on among the groups. And they were holding me, they lifted me up, and they were taking me around the college, celebrating the victory. And while I was going, I saw my mom walking into the college from the gate. And my mom was holding a piece of paper. And this paper was like, I thought maybe there is something wrong. Okay, maybe she's coming to catch me or something, I don't know. So I saw her coming and I managed to get down and I sent my friends away and I walked to her. Then she said, you have got a letter from the college. And the letter was a selection letter from an entrance exam which I had written earlier, which I had forgotten already. And that was an exam for law, okay, which I did between my chemistry and my mechanical engineering entrance. And now this time I have been selected for law. And I have to now decide whether I should go for law or not. And then in a few days, few months, to cut the story short, I landed up in the law college. Okay, so when I went for the interview there, the principal in the college looked at my previous history and he asked me, you look like a jack of all trades. Are you going to stay here and complete this course. And I said, definitely, why not? Because anyway, engineering was not my cup of tea. I was not very much interested. That is how I landed up in law college. And I completed my law in 1991. And I was, I was very successful in my studies, and I really wanted to become a lawyer. But then fate has its own plan, God has his own plan. What happened is my father retired that year, and he had to come back home. There was no other earning member in the family, and somebody has to work now. And I come from a very ordinary middle class family. My father was a government servant, my mother was a homemaker. And we are three brothers. My elder brother is doing his house surgeoncy that year. Medicine finished, doing his training in the hospital. And my younger brother is still in college, doing his engineering. And I was stuck here between my elder brother and younger brother. I have to decide now whether I continue practicing law or I go for a job. Because now if I practice law, at that time, any senior advocate would pay 750 rupees as stipend to the junior. Any lawyers in the room? Oh, very few. Okay. So, 750 rupees would do nothing. And I had to decide between a job and my profession. And nobody was there in my family from this profession to support me up. So a couple of days I thought about it, and then I decided to take up a job. And that is how I ended up in my first job. I worked for a company called Procter & Gamble in India about 4 years, starting from 1991 till 91 to 94. And then that was fun. That was actually very interesting. My first salary was 5,000 rupees. And in 91, 5,000 rupees was quite a good amount of money. And I was very excited. I was young. I wanted to achieve a lot. And I was praying to God that, thank you, you gave me the best job and let me excel through this job. And I gave my 100%, probably 200%. I remember working for 13, 14 hours a day. Okay, and I was recruited in the legal department of the company. But then I was more into other aspects. I would have more, I have more flavor towards selling in the legal department when that was a time when they were launching aerial washing powder in India. And aerial washing powder was a new thing. And they were doing this launch, house to house launch all across India. And the guy who was taking care of the southern part of India was not very aggressive. He was falling short of his targets. And then we have this overlap of the marketing department talking about their lapses in the legal department. And then I would give ideas and suggestions. And over a period of 6 months to 1 year, they were noticing me, they were hearing me. And then all of a sudden they said, I don't think you are fit for legal. Why don't you move to marketing? And that's how I landed up in marketing job. And I was working for 3 years, supervising the launch all over South India. And it became a super success story in India at that time. And that is how my marketing career started. Okay, and I worked in Procter & Gamble for about 4 years until 94. And then I resigned my job. Why? Because I was too bored with what I was doing. It was no more exciting for me. It was not as much rewarding, and it was a lot of politics to deal with in the company. Okay, most of the companies at that time were ruled by certain group of people, and they would not allow anybody else to grow. And that was my experience in my company. And then I decided to resign. I left the job, stayed for 6 months without a job, and started applying for a job overseas. And that is how I landed up in Bahrain in the year 1994. And I lived in Bahrain from 94 till 2005. And then 2005 to 2009, I lived in Canada. Then 2009, I came back, and now I am settled in Bangalore, India. And for the past 3 years, it has been exciting living in India. So that is how I got into marketing. And my second job was also marketing related. It was with a company called Konica, a Japanese company. And they recruited me as their sales manager for their operations in Bahrain. And I landed up in Bahrain in 1994, hoping that this job is going to make me successful. Now, do we have a board here? Can we have a board on the stage? So my story is very much common like anybody else who has been working, who has been employed, who has been working somewhere to make sure that the bills are paid every month. I was very excited with this new job, landed in Bahrain, worked with them for about 6 years, and I was continuing working. I got a couple of promotions. As usual, the story is the same. And in the year 2000, I met QNet through one of my friend who was my classmate in my primary school. And this guy was also working in Bahrain, and he was working for a bank. So he came to my house one day. I invited him for dinner. And while having dinner, we were talking about a lot of things. Then he asked me, all of a sudden he asked me, what did you accomplish, Cherian, in the past 10 years of working life? What did you achieve? So I said, what do you mean? You know I am accomplished already. I have done a lot. I am doing good in my job, and I am in a good position. So he said, think about it for some time. Don't be in a hurry. Think about your achievements in the past 10 years. Now, if you think that you have achieved a lot, don't worry about the question. Just forget it. But if you have not achieved a lot, then let's talk tomorrow. And then we will discuss something else. And he left. And for the first time in my life, I had this experience of somebody confronting me on my success. In fact, nobody was bothered about my success. My parents, my brothers, nobody was bothered. They were all, it was very casual. Okay, they are only interested in the benefits which comes to them through my job. But they are not interested in how well I am doing in my job. And this guy was confronting me on my success over a period of 10 years, and I was damn sure that I am doing good. Because at that point of time, I was the general manager of my company. And I was managing about 100 odd staff in my company. And I was pretty comfortable with my job because I have a nice house which the company had given me. I had a car, very nice car of any standards at that time. I had paid vacations every year. I had medical insurance. I had everything which I could ask for. And I was leading a very busy life. How many of you are busy in life? Busy? A lot of you are busy. Are you all networkers or employees somewhere? Busy with networking. That is a good thing. But I'm talking about busy being employed, working for somebody. Who is that? Okay. I'm talking to you guys. Okay. Now, I was so busy that I never had any opportunity to think about my success, my growth. So busy that every day would pass by. Days would pass by, years would pass by, nothing, no opportunity to think where I am heading every day. I reached a stage where I even didn't have time for many things which was very personal to my own life, to my family. Every day busy. Wherever there is people, I'm there. Wherever there is a meeting, I'm there. Wherever there is a club, I'm there. Wherever there is a church function, I'm there. Everywhere I am busy with so many things, but not busy building my life, which I never knew. I was thinking that I'm building my life, I'm building my future. Okay, and this guy is asking me, what did you accomplish? I told him, what do you think? I was a bit arrogant in my reply. Why? Because I thought I'm already successful. So he said, don't worry about my question. Just think about it. Don't get annoyed with me. I'm not going to do anything to you. Just think about it overnight. And he left. And I started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I started to sweat. Why? Because every year before that year, I was struggling so hard to find out what did I accomplish. I went through the movie of my life, past 10 years. What did I achieve? And I couldn't find anything worthwhile, except apart from the fact that, yes, I have a nice family, I have a wife and a daughter, and I have a job. Life is moving on. Every day is busy. Everyone is busy. It was a very terrible experience for me. For the first time, I realized that my life is not going in the right direction. For the first time, I realized that I am not making progress in life. For the first time, I realized that I am getting older and 10 years has already passed by. Okay, you see, all of us have 3 phases in our life. There are 3 phases. The first phase is called foundation. Foundation phase takes approximately 25 years. The first 25 years, which is basically education, college, school, college, university, professional education, whatever you do. It takes 25 years of foundation building, which is meant to make you successful. In fact, our parents, our teachers, everybody says if you are good in your studies, you will become successful, isn't it? How many of you were good in your studies? And yet you are sitting here in this room, isn't it? Why? Because our educational systems are not geared towards making successful people. Our educational systems are all geared towards making employees work for uneducated, successful people. Okay, and I realized that quite a little bit late. Foundation takes 25 years. The next phase is called growth phase. And in this growth phase, you have 25 to 60, out of which the last 10 years, 50 to 60 is kind of non-productive, unproductive. Okay, so that means you have 25 to 50, which is approximately 20 years to make it or to just forget it. So everybody has 25 years. Now, on that day, I had already finished 10 out of this 25. And I only had 15 more left. And the last phase is called retirement in gentleman's language. Some other names in some other people's language. Okay, in different places they call it in different names. Retirement is like 60 and above until he calls you. Okay, so that phase is of no use, unproductive phase. And I'm very happy that I'm talking to young people here, not many old people. Okay, now this 15 years, 10 to 15 years is what I had. And my worry was, that night, my worry was, my first 10 years has not done anything good to me. So how will I make it happen? I couldn't sleep that night. I woke up the next day, the first thing I did when I went to my office is call my upline. And I told him, I want to meet you. He said, come over during lunch hours, let's talk. And I went to his clinic, he's a doctor. Went to his clinic and sat in front of him. So he asked me again, what did you accomplish in the past 10 years? And with a lot of pain and with a lot of, I had to bite my ego, I had to just agree to the fact that I am a failure. I had to tell him that I have not improved a lot, I have not achieved anything. Then he said, if you realize that, it is a good beginning for you. Then he said, if your past 10 years has not made you successful, then what makes you think that the next 10 years will? And the next 10 years, how will it change your life? If your past 10 years has been like this, then how come the next 10 years will change your life if you remain the same? And I told him, no, I don't think I will make any big progress. Maybe a few $1,000s more in terms of salary increment. But by the time I enjoy that, I will be also needing that money for my increased expenses. My children is growing, my family is it needs a lot of things. So obviously any increment would go towards those increased expenses. And the balance would be the same situation. There won't be any much progress. Then he said, it is a good realization for you. It is a good beginning. I will show you something which will change your life altogether. And he said, come and meet me the same day, evening at 7 p.m. in his house. And I went there with my wife to attend to this presentation. And on my way to his house, I had already made up my mind. I had already told myself that whatever it is, if it will help me to succeed in life, I'm going to take it. I don't know what it is. Okay, and my wife was saying, no, don't say like that. Let's understand it. Let's go and study. So by the time the guy finished the first step, 3 and 3, 250, I had already made up my mind. But my wife was very much focused in the presentation. She was looking into the details of the presentation, but I was not. I had already made up my mind and I decided to come on board. But then I realized that by the end of the presentation, he will ask me, when are you signing up? And I know that I cannot sign up immediately because I don't have the money. Credit card was up to the neck. Everything was full. Those days, first 15 days of the month was pretty good. The last 15 days was kind of a struggle every month. Okay, even though people outside would feel that you are very successful, okay, because of the lifestyle you project in front of people, because of the nice dress you wear, because of the position you have, because of the car you drive. Nobody knows that it is given by the company. I even had this allowance. At that time they used to call it allowance for buying nice dress, which would fit in, like to maintain your posture. Okay, So that means everything was taken care of. So it was very difficult. So I wanted to sign up, and as I expected, he asked me this: when are you signing up? And I said, I will sign up in a couple of days' time. Give me some time, let me think about it, and let me get back to you. On my way back, I called 6 of my friends who are in a similar positions like me in other companies. And I told them, I need some money. I want to borrow some money. I need $600 because I had $200. At that time, it was $800 to join the business. And to my surprise, all 6 of them declined. Nobody had money. And that is the first day I realized that most of those guys who are pretending to be successful like me also are in a similar shape. And then finally I ended up borrowing money from 3 of them, $200 each. And I joined in this business exactly 4 days after the presentation. And from that day, my life took a 360-degree change. My first month, I did around 45 presentations, one-on-one. You guys are blessed. You have an infinity system in every city, maybe multiple systems in the same city. But when we started, at that time, we have to present, because my uplines who signed me up also has similar knowledge than me. I told you, Mahendra Kumar and me, Arun and me, we were just like 3-4 months difference in terms of joining the business. And nobody had any idea how to do this business. The first month, I did 45 one-on-ones. And in that 45 presentations, I took help from my upline only for one presentation. And that presentation, the first one, was a disaster. Why? Because the guy became so angry that he finally said that if not you people, I would have stopped you halfway through the presentation. And we walked out with a lot of pain, a lot of ill feeling. Okay, I felt like giving up immediately, because this guy was one of my most sought after, sure prospects who would join in the business. My first presentation. And while sitting in the presentation, I realized that I can do a better job than my upline because of my own confidence. Maybe it is my arrogance or my ego, but I felt like that. And I decided to do it myself from the second one onwards. The first 45 was a terrible experience. Nobody signed up except the last 5. Out of 45, 40 of them rejected me, and all of them were my sure sign-ups, according to me. Okay. When I started in this business, I said, I'm doing presentations to corporates. I'm doing business presentations for various organizations. I close deals for the company which runs into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why would I fail in this business? This is so simple. 3 and 3 is 250. So this is like easy for me. I can just sign up so many people. But the first month taught me that this business is not like other businesses. The first month taught me that this is totally a different ball game. This is not like the traditional industry. But one thing happened in that 45 presentations. I learned everything about the business. Many people ask me this: why did you not give up in that experience, the worst experience anybody can get? Almost every important prospect rejected. My friends, almost everybody rejected. My colleagues, almost everybody rejected. My relatives, almost everybody rejected. But then I didn't want to give up. I never thought of quitting the business. I just continued. I got the first sign up exactly like 25 days after my sign up. And the next few presentations was positive. I got some sign ups. And that is where I started. Year 2000, October 23rd, I started in this business. And this October 23rd, 2012, I have just stepped into my 13th year doing QNet. Now, I always ask this question to myself, why did I believe that this is the right business for me? And I want to ask you this question, why do you believe? What makes you believe that this is going to change your life? How can a business change your life? How can a company in Hong Kong change your life? What makes you believe in that company? I'm very much interested in knowing from you, why do you believe? What is belief? What is belief? Many people are confused. Many people want to know, want to believe it after experiencing the results. I'm sure many of you, how many of you are sitting here without earning a check? Can I see your hands, please? Okay? You are here, which shows some belief. But how long this belief will continue is the ultimate question. 1 month more, 2 more months, 3 more months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. What is this belief? Belief is where everything starts. Every successful person in this world, anyone who has made extremely powerful success in their life, people who have become extremely successful in whatever they are doing, what I have understood, what I have learned over these years is that the most critical element in becoming successful in anything is belief. And belief to different people is different, as you all answered now. Different people have different answers. What is belief? Belief is, to me, it is a state of mind. Belief is life. Belief is journey. Belief is the beginning, belief is the end. Belief is everything. But you cannot believe before the journey, after the journey. You have to believe even before you make your first step. Belief is the most critical element which makes you successful. It is a state of mind. Nobody can give you this belief unless you want to acquire it. No external force, there is no coaching, there is no training to improve your belief. Belief is an experience. Belief is your life. And belief is everything. Your belief will make you a warrior. If you don't believe, you will not even make a few steps in this journey. Belief has to happen now. From the very beginning. You have to tell yourself, within yourself, you have to make yourself believe. You have to make yourself realize that you have no other option but to believe. Every great journey in this world happened because of belief. If you look at our own history in our own country, okay, if you look at the independence movement of our country, it was just belief. Belief of one man who stood up and said, enough is enough. I want you guys to leave. Belief of one man who stood up and said, I believe that this is possible, and I want you to believe me. And I want you to follow me. As long as you believe me, follow me. And I will get you the freedom you want. One person's belief can move a nation. But remember, it cannot happen after the journey. It has to happen before the journey. Belief is infectious. Your belief will make you wake up every day morning and do the same thing again and again and again, even if you don't get results, but you will still continue doing it. Why? Because you believe. Everybody who became extremely successful, be it in the corporate world, be it anywhere in the world, in any background, any industry, the people who made it happen are the ones who believed that it is possible. It was not there. Look at the stories of all the big companies in India, starting with the Reliance Industries, starting with Wipro, Infosys, any company, any business which has become extremely powerful, started with one person's belief. So my question to you is, do you really believe? If you believe, everything else becomes manageable. If you believe, everything else becomes extremely easy for you. If you believe, the struggles of this business on a daily basis becomes nothing for you. If you believe, then you have to make a decision. Many people make decisions. I'm sure many of the speakers who came earlier have touched upon all these topics. But I want to share with you my learnings about these important things. Once you have the belief, then you make the decision. You decide. You decide to become successful. When you decide to become successful, no force in this world can make you a failure. Wherever you are from, whatever is your background. Decision is very crucial. If you believe, your decision will be strong. Your decision cannot change. I remember the story of a person. I remember the story of a young girl. This girl is a Kenyan, and she is a champion. I forgot her name, but this girl became a champion at the age of 18. She became a world champion in a long distance running championship. And as soon as she became a champion, the reporters ran to her and asked her, "What is the secret of your success?" Then she was, for the first time, she came from the far corners of Kenya. She came from a village which is bordering between Kenya and Tanzania. And she said, "I don't know the secret of my success. Please ask my father." So the reporters went to the father. And the father said, at the age of 7, this girl, my daughter, dreamt of becoming a champion. And from that age till the last week of this, before this championship, she used to climb 15 kilometers up, 15 kilometers down every day, every single day. She has to run 15 kilometers up, 15 kilometers down every single day. Now, when did she get result? She got result when she was 18 years old. That means the past 11 years, what kept her moving is her belief and her decision. Every day. Her father is saying that this girl was so much focused and so much, she believed so much that I could not ask her to do anything else. And she was, the only thing she was doing every day was running 30 kilometers every single day, from that day till today. Now, if you believe in something, you will make a decision to make that belief true for you. And when you make that belief true for you, you will work for whatever time period it will take you, but you will make yourself successful at the end of the... What was the result? After 18 years, she got a prize money, and do you know how much was the prize money? $3 million US. And this is the story of a champion who worked hard every day because she believed. Your decision has to be so strong. Your decision has to be so strong that you don't keep on changing your decision every day. Now, when I started in this business, my decision to do this business, I never knew that it is so strong. I never knew that I believe in this business. But circumstances today tells me that I believed. Circumstances today, my experience over the last 13 years has made me believe that my decision was a single decision which I took to do this business, and I never got distracted from that decision. Many people make decisions in life, and those decisions, to keep up those decisions is very difficult. Life gives you so much of experience that every now and then we keep on changing our decisions. Decision making has become a daily affair. Today one decision, tomorrow another decision. Today QNet, tomorrow PNet. And then 1 week later ZNet or any other net. Most of our lifetime we have been taking decisions, but we do not follow through those decisions. So if you have made a decision, you have to stick to that decision. Look at all those people who have made a decision and made the decision right. These two are two different things. Making decision is one thing, and making your decision right is another thing. How many of us would work every day, would work endlessly to make our decisions right? There is nothing called wrong decision. The decision you made today is as good as you. Because it is you who made the decision. And nobody else is going to make it right for you. You have to make it right. Many people think that by changing decisions, they can become successful. By trying something for some time and then something else for some more time, it doesn't work. We have to make a decision, and we have to make the decision right. Now, if your decision to do QNet is strong enough, then you have to do everything, whatever it takes, to make it right. Maybe your experience today may tell you that it is not right. Maybe your experiences is so difficult, is so tough, that you may think otherwise. But the reality is, no decision is right at the moment of making that decision. Every decision which was made by people which became successful is because the person who made the decision decided to make it right. Now, if you look at your leaders here, Dev Wadhwani, Malcolm, Manish, Tanaz, and the rest of the people here, all of them. I remember meeting Dev Wadhwani in Pune, in the same city. When was that, Dev? 2007? Yes, 2007. In the hotel here, Lee Meridian. We did a training for the network here in Mumbai and Pune. And Dev Wadhwani was a beginner at that time. And Manish Bansali. Both of them attended that training along with their uplines. And believe me, at that time Dev was kind of a beginner who was not very much focused, who was very casual with this business. His approach was very casual. But then he came into the business, he was in that training. I think there was around 200, 300 people attending that training. And out of those 200-300 people, only those two of them remain today as success stories here in this room. Why? Again, the same reason. It is all about belief and making a decision, and making your decision right by doing whatever it takes. Many of us are bored with this business. I don't know how many of you are bored with this business, but I know many leaders in our network talking about doing the same thing again and again and again, and it is boring. Every day, what am I doing? I'm inviting prospects, presenting the business. Inviting prospects, presenting the business. Inviting prospects, presenting the business. The same objections every day, the same kind of people every day. It is boring for me. There is nothing called exciting business opportunity. Every business is the same. Be it networking, be it a traditional business. If you want to become successful in something, you have to make a decision, and you have to make that decision right by doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again until you become successful. There is nothing called doing the business for 1 week and becoming successful. I have not heard of any such business. Look at anyone. Look at the champions around you. Look at Sachin Tendulkar. Look at anybody from any field. They have been doing the same thing again and again. Say it together. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again, again and again, until you make it. Sachin Tendulkar is even doing it again, even yesterday and day before yesterday and the day before that and the week before the test. He was still doing it again and again and again and again, the same thing which he was doing for the past 20 years, my dear friends. You have to do the same thing. If you get bored with this business, then believe me, your decision is not strong, your belief is questionable. Have you heard any of the parents around you, your parents telling you that they are bored of you? Never. You cannot be bored about something which you have taken. Having a child is a decision. You cannot give up on your child until you die. You cannot say, my child is spoiled, so I don't want him. Forget him. I'll get someone else. It is a lifelong commitment. Success is a lifelong commitment. You have to do it every day. Today, tomorrow, day after, and whatever time period it takes. Some people will experience faster results, some will experience different results. But at the end of the day, if you continue doing the same thing again and again and again and again until you get it, you will get it for sure. And that is what I learned from this story about a beggar. Okay, now this story, the headlines was, even a beggar can make it. And this story appeared, it's a true story which appeared in a newspaper which comes out in England, in London. I forgot the name, I think it is Guardian newspaper. And I was there during one of my trips there, and I was reading this. And the story, the caption is, even a beggar can make it. And what is the story? The story is about being committed and doing his job or her job every day to become successful. And the story goes like this. The beggar comes from a neighborhood in London city, somewhere 20-30 miles away from city center. And this guy lives in a small, tiny apartment, a small one, really tiny, in a distant neighborhood. And he travels by the subway, reaches London city, and he sits in the place where he normally sits and begs throughout the day, from 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening. At 5 o'clock, he will wrap up everything, put all the coins, the change into a plastic bag, and he will go back home. And he has been doing this for years now. And one fine day, the neighborhood found out that this place is smelling very badly, the neighborhood. And people started complaining about some foul smell. And the city authorities came in to check out what happened. And after checking for some time, they realized that the smell originates from this beggar's house. So they went to inspect his house. And they tried to contact him, couldn't contact him, so they opened the house. And to their surprise, they found the entire house, the small house, small one single bedroom, single room house. The entire house was full of plastic bags and a lot of crap around the house. Okay, and the smell is originating from this place. So they cleaned up all the place. They gathered all the plastic bags and they opened the plastic bag in the presence of the police. And they found out change, okay, every day's collection. And that change has been, it is intact, it has not been used. It is tied and thrown on the floor. So they started opening it. And they opened it, and they had to call for more people from the police to help them open it because it was in there were thousands of bags like that. And when they opened up and they started gathering all the coins, and by the time this guy came in the evening, they finished counting. And they found out that this guy has almost gathered 3/4 of £1,000,000 by begging for more than 15 years. And they waited for this guy to come back. That day he came back. And when he came back, he saw the people around his house. He got anxious. He came to the house. He asked them, what happened? So they said, what do you do? Police asked him. He said, I'm a beggar. Why are you begging? You have so much of wealth here. Why are you begging even now? Then he said, it is none of your business. And he went into the house, closed the door, threw that day's collection on the floor, went into the portion where he cooks his food and started cooking food for the night. Ate his food, slept. Next day morning, again he got up on the subway, went to the place where he used to beg. Every day, the same activity. He never got bored of what he was doing. And he amazed the people around him. Even a beggar can become successful if you are consistent in what you do. Consistency makes you successful. So what did you learn? You have to believe. You have to make one decision and work to make that decision right every day. In my past 12 years, I never changed my decision. I never. There were many occasions when my network had collapsed even to ground zero. Many occasions. In the past 12 years, maybe at least 3-4 times, it went down to nothing. But the decision was very strong. I didn't want to change my decision. I wanted to make my decision right. And I wanted to work on creating the same thing which I could create many times in the past. Consistency in what you do plays a great role, important role in becoming successful. I want you guys, do I have time? Okay. So, I want to talk to you about the importance of a decision. I just want to share with you the story of Henry Ford. Have you heard of the story of Henry Ford? Henry Ford was a great entrepreneur. In his time period, when he was shaping up the Ford Motor Corporation, at that time he had a big dream. He had a dream of making the first 8-cylinder engine in one piece of metal, okay, on one side of the engine. He called up his engineers and he said, I want to do this. They said, it's impossible, sir. Nobody has done it before. And nobody knows how to do it. I said, I know that, but still I want this to happen. I want the 8-cylinder engine to happen. He told his engineers, do whatever it takes. Do whatever is required. Take how much ever time you need for this. But continue on this mission. I want this to happen. A few months later, he checked. The main engineers, the chief engineers went back to him and said, sir, this is not possible. He said, I know it is not possible, but we have to do it. And he sent them back. 6 months later, again he called them and checked about the progress. They said, sir, we have not made any progress so far. We are still struggling. And looks like it is impossible. He said, there is nothing called impossible. You keep working on it and you will make it happen. I want it to happen as soon as possible. And they kept on working for another 6 months. At the end of 1.5 years, they found the way to invent the first 8-cylinder engine, which was a great historical moment for the company at that point of time. I'm talking about the late 60s, early 70s. Now the guy made a decision, and he worked on it to make it successful. He worked on that decision to make it successful. I want you guys to understand this, that there is nothing called instant success in anything. Success is a journey which will be a mixture of a lot of experiences. Everything you see above the line is the successful moments you had and the successful experiences you had in the business. Whatever you see below the line is the moments of challenges, the moments of where you failed, where you thought you failed, moments where you didn't get a result, moments when you had a tough downline to deal with, moments when you had bad experiences, moments when your team failed you. But then, when you look at the journey, it is a mixture of everything. It is a mixture of great experiences, successful moments, as well as unsuccessful, challenging moments. And this journey, when you continue in the journey, when you continue with your decision, when you work on it every single day, that is when you become extremely successful. I want to conclude this session with the story of the greatest networker our company has ever produced. The story of Tobing. Have you heard of Tobing? Tobing, how many of you have seen him? You saw him in the week on. Now many of you, if you were Tobing, you would have not been here. You would have been out there bad-mouthing this company and the business. But Tobing is a person who believed, who made a decision, and who worked hard to make it right. However long it took for him. The story is very simple. He comes from a very humble background. He was among the poorest of the poor in his part of the world. He was struggling every day to make his life successful, to put food on the table. He was struggling every day. His father had passed away. His mom and his family, brothers, and his own family and his brother's family all were struggling. And he joined this business while he was selling coffee on the streets of the place where he was living. He was a coffee maker. He used to sell coffee. to people, to the affluent people, the people who run around in suits and coats and all that, who pretend that they are successful, but in their wallet they have nothing. He was selling coffee to them. He was encouraging, motivating them to join the business. Nobody joined. According to what I understand from him, he kept on talking about it. I think he worked for almost 1.5 years before, without any success in QNet. He would talk to people, nobody will listen to him. Nobody wants to listen to a coffee maker by world standards. But this guy was so strong enough that he said, I am born to become rich, I will become rich, I will become successful, and I will become so much rich that the rich people in this country will feel ashamed of themselves. He woke up every day. He will look into the mirror and he will say, Tobing, you are born to become successful. He will smile at him and say, Tobing, you are successful. And then he will move out. He got his first sign up after a couple of years. Then the second, then the third. The first few years was a great struggle for him. He was like an ordinary networker. A networker who has his own share of struggles and problems. And many of you are sitting here in this room who have the same problems. I also had the same problems. But he was not willing to change his decision. His family advised him. His mother told him. His brothers told him to give up. Let's do something else. But he said, nothing doing. I want to become successful and I want to do only QNet. He continued. In a few years after that, he started to see progress. The last 5 years, according to Chief Patman, Tobing is the highest earner in the world today. And many of you who came to VCon saw his passion. And his passion is his belief. His belief is his passion. According to the stories I have heard from Sati and Patman, I know that the guy is filthy rich. His earnings is in the range of 50 to 60,000 US dollars a week. And he has been there for the last 5 years on top of the world. Now, the moment you make $5,000, what happens to you? You will take a break. You will relax. You will party. You will enjoy. You will finish the $5,000 in 1 week and then come back to see that your network is already dead. But Tobing is not like that. Tobing, his passion, his anger, his belief, his decision has become even more stronger. Every time he makes one check, if 1 week his check is dropped by $2,000, $3,000, he calls Patman immediately. He says, Chief, this week I have $2,000 less. What should I do? What did I do wrong? Can I change something? He's so hungry for success. And for him, today, you name anything you want in this world, he has. I think, according to what I heard, his house where he lives in a house, the house, in front of the house, he has a couple of auditoriums like this, where he does BPs, business presentations, every week on a Sunday, with more than 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, prospects. And he signs up 1,000, 2,000 people every week. You name anything, any car in the world which you dream of, he has. And maybe many times, multiple times. anything you want. The watch he wears might be equal to the total wealth you have in your family. That's the cost of his watch. But he has not changed because of success. If you look at him, he is still a humble, very silent, unassuming person. In the crowd, nobody would recognize him as the most successful in the world. What is his success? The reason behind his success. The reason is he believed that he is born to become successful. Whatever is the circumstances around him, he believed that this business will change his future. He believed that his life has only one decision, and that decision cannot go wrong at any cost. He has to make it right, and he decided to make it right. However it has to be done, he is willing to pay the price. And he kept on working until the day he became the highest earner in the world. And then he kept on working until today he is working to remain there as the highest earner in the world. And that is what, ladies and gentlemen, means by saying that you have to make your decision right. Nobody is going to do it for you. You have to do it. There is a saying that your vehicle is as good as the driver. The vehicle which you have is as good as the driver who drives the vehicle. You have this vehicle called QNet to become successful, to use it to become successful. QNet cannot make you successful. QNet has nothing to do with your success. QNet is just a vehicle. You have embraced it. Now you have made the decision to live the life of a quester. You have decided to build this business. You have to stay strong on your decision. And you have to work along with all your uplines who work with you. It is so important that you listen to your uplines. Many of us are smart. We all think that we know much more than our uplines. We are more educated. We are more experienced. Remember my story? All my experience in my corporate life never helped me here in this business. So submit yourself to your upline. Listen to them. Don't question anything. Just shut up, listen, and do what they ask you to do. And if you do that, success will come much faster. What should you do? Can you say again? This side you are not saying. Can you say again? People on the top, nobody is heard here. What about you guys here? Shut up, listen, and do what? What they say, what they teach you, how they teach you, whatever they ask you to do it. The journey will be much faster for you. Submit yourself to them and work with them because they have more experience than you in this journey. I want to conclude this session with a target for you guys. And the target is for the next 30 days. Today is 9th of December 2012. By 9th of January 2012, I want you guys to do 2 directs. F2, you know F2? What do you mean by F2? Find your 2. Find your 2 and make them earn in the next 30 days. I want everyone in this room, infinity, all of you to find your two in the next 30 days. I'm sure many of you will find maybe 20, but that is not the target. The target is to find two and make those two people earn in this business in the next 30 days. Can we do this? Can we do this? So what should you do for that? Can you all stand up? Can you all stand up and say together, shut up, listen and do. Again. 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 I can't hear you. Again. Again. When you shut up, listen and do, you will become successful. Because your belief, your decision, and your consistency will make you successful in this business. I want all of you to say this again. Shut up, listen and do. Scream it louder. Shut up, listen and do. Together, shut up, listen and do. Again. Again. What should you do in the next 30 days? What should you do every time? Shut up, listen and do. Shut up, listen and do. Find your two in the next 30 days and make them earn one check in the next 30 days. That is when this conference becomes successful. And that is when we can prove to the world that Infinity is the greatest team in this world. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Just do it. Just do it.
A big thank you to you, partner. Ladies and gentlemen,